A few years ago, some hero was getting married. This hero was Petrivka, and he's getting married to the woman. And we were going to have a bachelor party. It was going to have myself, Baggins, our friend Tyler, and his brother. Well, his brother missed his flight, and Tyler's and Baggins's flight got delayed, and thus our bachelor party was just me and Petrivka, and it devolved into us just sharing YouTube videos. It was a very epic bachelor party, but he introduced me to something. A little guy called Beagle Rush and his Iron Man Impossible runs. I had never heard of this Australian. I had heard of XCOM through Pirate. I'd never really watched it in depth. Little did I know that the night before his wedding would be a night that changed my life, because it introduced me to a game that I have put in so many freaking hours. This is episode 65 of I Think We Overleveled, and we're just talking about the XCOM series. Pirate, how long ago was that?
That was 11 years. Is it 11? No, it's more than that now. Gosh, 13 years it's going to be.
Okay, luckily your wife doesn't listen to this, so we'll be fine. No, he introduced me to XCOM, and I didn't really get it until this video series by Beagle Rush, and it changed everything. Beagle Rush is hilarious. But I don't know.
Now there's one question I've got. Is he around? I actually hadn't kept up with it.
He seems to only stream now, I think.
I can imagine this was a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot of editing.
As someone who has tried to make basically the same content, it's a lot of editing.
But it is darn entertaining when you do it well.
Yeah, it really is. It helps with his having that Aussie accent. Really, adds.
I mean, accent also helps, of course.
But he just has just a very wicked sense of humor that is perfect for the dark comedy that is XCOM.
So I guess maybe we should back up a little bit and explain what the heck XCOM is for the uninitiated.
If you've never played XCOM, it's a, what do you even call it? Turn-based military simulator?
It's a turn-based tactical game, basically.
It's the thing it's closest to, as far as like what's mainstream, is probably Fire Emblem. If Fire Emblem with guns isn't a bad descriptor.
When you get into all the technicalities of how they work, they're very different. But in terms of genre, that's the closest sort of thing. XCOM is less RPG.
Yeah, it's less anime as well. What with the humans who are just jacked on all kinds of steroids, but it's an issue. No, I don't know why. XCOM is even more brutal than at least modern Fire Emblem. It's part of the difficulties kind of built into the cake for XCOM.
Well, XCOM is... Sorry.
Go ahead.
XCOM... No, you're the Fire Emblem person.
Yeah.
XCOM is very focused on action economy and high lethality, like low time to kill, low number of shots to kill, whereas Fire Emblem is a lot more focused on like what's your build and the ability to build into survivability and like taking on a lot of enemies at once and all that type of stuff. There is no such thing as enemy phase in XCOM unless you like technically you can count Overwatches, but it's like that's not necessarily.
If you're playing well, the enemies do not get to do things.
Yeah, giving them a phase is usually things go badly for you.
Well, and that's especially, and this is part of this is the other thing that's interesting about XCOM, is it has 3 distinct, the main XCOM games. There's been a bunch of, they experimented with some really weird offshoots, but the main XCOM game has had 3 phases to it. And the first one especially was the meat grinder phase, where you could just die getting off the ship.
Oh, we're talking about the original XCOM.
Yeah, the
from
original
the
XCOM.
90s. Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, you started off with a team of like what, 8?
8 in your
I
first
think.
Sky Ranger, and
Yeah.
you could get up to either 16 or 20 in the fully upgraded one that goes to Mars. Spoiler alert, retroactive.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But like,
yeah, for like a 30-year-old game.
rookies are a blade of armor in the original.
Unless you have anything called a chrysalid on the map, then rookies are 150% liability.
No,
Actually, even then, rookies are just liability because has
rookies are
anyone else
really
ever
bad
actually
in the
played and
original.
finished the first XCOM, like the original?
Well, didn't the original have like a soft lock?
Oh, absolutely. There were multiple ways you could
Would not
soft lock.
surprise me.
You could soft lock yourself by the research tree. That was the worst thing. I mean, like, yeah, bad enough that you could very easily wipe your squad and all of your good soldiers. I mean, that's something that is common to every XCOM series, I think.
I'm gonna switch
But-
this over.
Yeah,
But
switch
yeah,
us
you
over
could
to
get yourself in a
Yeah.
cul-de-sac through research that you can't get yourself out of.
Yeah, there are some other bugs where it's like if you ever load the game, it will default to beginner difficulty, and even beginner difficulty is absurd.
Yeah, the beginner, like,
Wasn't
the
there? I
difficulty
thought that was a
levels were
glitch
not-
too.
It was a glitch, yeah. It's a glitch where if you ever load it's either if you ever load the game or after the first mission, it always hard sets to beginner. But yeah, I finished the original XCOM, and let me tell you, that was a trial and a chore, and many, many, many save scums later, and I do
Oh.
not feel bad about it because that game doesn't feel bad about anything it does to
Absolutely
you.
not. Like, I don't think I would have ever finished this game if I weren't doing it on a DOSBox emulator type system.
Do you remember, did you get to Mars?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And do you remember that very first step out where they overwatch a blaster launcher on you and suddenly your entire squad is dead inside the ship? Or was that just me?
I had that happen, not on Mars, but I did have a very similar experience for sure.
It was either that or it was like the terrain height was miscalculated, and so I fired a blaster launcher and it blew up my
And
entire
you blew
ship.
up yourself. Yeah, that's also very likely.
and then you run into ethereals which cannot be killed. I ended up finishing the game with I swear 2 or 3 soldiers left out of 20, running around just hoping that I don't run into anything on my way to finish off the main objective. It was terrifying. That game is a horror game.
Yes.
No, for sure. And the vibe, the music, it was way more like of a dark, horrible horror kind of vibe.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of going for like a 1950s alien.
I mean, yeah.
invasion
Look
horror
at those
film.
pictures there that they were showing in the intro.
I went back to the intro just to, which even the
Hello again.
even XCOM Enemy Unknown kind of still gets more the horror vibe.
Yeah,
not this
it's
though.
hard to match because the original was just so grim. And I mean, it was an older game, of course. There was no hand-holding whatsoever.
And in a series that is not known to hold your hand, the original really didn't hold your hand.
I mean, I will tell you this.
There's no Balin telling you how explosives
Don't
work.
blow up the aliens. You gotta get the loot. I mean, I played this original. I mean, okay, I did play the original XCOM close to when it came out when I was a child, and let's just say that I didn't go very far.
If you did, I would be impressed.
No, I was sort of like, I could move around and I can shoot guys, but why? like I can't shoot them back when they're shooting it. What? And like when do I get a turn? And like I didn't get a turn because I died. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think this is the game that I want to play. And it wasn't until I was in college that I went back and revisited it.
And because yeah, the original, and this brings up a debate that people have had over the Firaxis ones, over the old Micropros, is the original had a very different action point system.
Yeah, you had like they were in discrete points, if I recall. Like you would
Yeah.
get like up to like I mean you would level it up as your soldiers got better, but yeah, it was like, you know, dozens you would end up with at the rather than like you have like 2 or 3.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
The
traded
sequel
it
is all
between
about it's
move and
about
Hello again,
cheating
again.
out extra actions.
yeah. I
No,
mean, far
this
far
is
simpler and more accessible, and I
yeah.
think it was a better design choice overall. But I can see the
Mhm.
argument.
Well, and that's the thing that's so interesting about it. We were talking about this a bit in the pre-show. Um, this is one of the communities I have found that has the least arguing over like which version is better type of thing. There just seems to be kind of this understanding that it depends how crunchy you like things, and it's already such a niche market, right? Like
It,
this is not a game series
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, this is for everyone.
to me, it does seem that the consensus is that of the old games, that Apocalypse was the best. I actually had never played it.
I have not. I'm not familiar with Apocalypse.
I think that was like the last one, or if not the last one of the last Microprose XCOM games.
Okay.
I think it was like late '90s when it came out.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details, but yeah, something like that.
The thing I think that was really enjoyed by it is there was this far more environmental, uh, interaction. Like there was a fair amount in the original game, but like it worked even better. Like the levels made more sense in terms of like height and all that kind of thing because they could just do more.
I just want to the original, especially for the era it came out on. This thing is black magic.
It's
like,
remarkable the amount of complexity
yeah,
they put into it.
Not quite Doom in levels of how did you achieve this, but holy crap! Like just the geoscape in the original is just it's mind-boggling. You're just like, you can do this on a DOS.
Oh yeah.
How are you
And-
faking this 3D movement?
And the thing is that it's been stated, XCOM has been stated specifically by name as an inspiration for both Fallout and Diablo, for the reason why they did their camera, that the angles
Oh,
and the
I
way
can
that
see
they
it.
did it. The camera and
now
the
that
grid
you
and all
say that,
type of stuff.
yes, I can see the original Fallout in this perfectly.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially with the action point economy between the old Fallout games is really similar to how it worked in XCOM.
Hidden movement.
Oh gosh, this is like PTSD for me, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you feel yourself clenching up a little bit?
Yeah, I'm feeling the butt clench. Like I just like, oh my gosh.
What is your first memory of mission memory?
Like I mean, like when I'm gonna go to when I was seriously playing it in college.
Mhm.
Not the I'm so bad that I'm never playing it again. Um, I think the first memory I had was one of my soldiers getting shot, and one of the guys in the back of the Sky Ranger panicking and killing the guys on auto fire.
Panic circles.
Yep.
And yes, and then the panic circle ensued.
I remember getting out into, a farm level and then having sectoids from an upstairs room in a farmhouse shooting down on me.
Oh, shooting
and
down,
I
yeah.
couldn't shoot back. I couldn't figure out how to shoot back up at them for 2 or 3 turns. It just
Well, yeah, you had to understand how the level selection worked. You had to. I can't remember now. It's been a minute, but I think you had to click that little ladder button.
Yeah. And then it was like the very second level I went to for some reason was a panic mission with like 4 cyber discs, and I'm just like, I'm restarting this.
Yeah, the cyber
can't do this.
The difficulty scaling also is yeah, you get a couple
What's
of sectoids
difficulty
and
scaling?
then immediately everything is at your
Potentially. Or you could get like 7 missions of just sectoids in a row because
right.
the game felt pity on you.
And then the chrysalid, oh my gosh. The chrysalids were as maligned as they were in the newer XCOM. Like the original XCOM, boy howdy.
You had to kill them with fire, so you better hope that you brought fire.
Brought something that would kill them, yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just respawned, I think. Or no, they killed someone, they became a zombie, and if you didn't kill the zombie with fire, it became another chrysalid. I forget exactly how. It's one of those two.
They would metamorphosize eventually. They would get worse.
Don't get me so in XCOM Enemy Unknown, chrysalids were not as terrifying as they were in the original. Still pretty terrifying.
Definitely terrifying. Still, they kept a lot of the terrifying part, but this was another level.
Yeah,
the problem in 2,
the problem in 2 is the fact they removed how they worked. They changed it to where chrysalids could die and create an egg instead of implanting it. And they also just waited way too late to introduce them into the difficulty spike of XCOM 2 for them to be terrifying.
XCOM 2 we're going to get into more, but the rate at which the numbers... It's my personal
favorite, but I understand why people prefer
the rate at which the damage and health numbers increased were not kind to the chrysalid. But to be fair, do we have to be kind to the chrysalid?
Yeah,
They've
screw
had
those guys.
Several games
oh my gosh.
Of existence and terror.
Man, I remember being terrified during hidden movement of just hearing doors open and shut. I mean, because you would hear all of the interactions or whatever, doors opening and closing, and they could just be civilians. You didn't know.
Yep. It's just hidden movement.
What was opening that door? Who was opening that door?
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you say that, Dave? Wait, sorry.
The total lack of information, the amount of hidden information hidden from the player in the first game, and I guess maybe all of these original DOS ones, really sets the mood and really changes versus the remakes where, there's some hidden information, but largely you have more knowledge, you feel more in control, even if you're not in control at all because everyone's panicking.
That's right. The missed shots had, it would hit something. Something would get hit. It's not like the new XCOMs, they didn't dispense.
Now, it can hit terrain and blow up terrain, but not things.
Kinda, but if you miss a rifle,
I've blown out the floor right from underneath my soldiers with a simple pistol shot. So
I mean, usually not though. But in the original XCOM, everything was you see, they track the dang shot until it leaves the map.
Yeah, you can end up hitting another target, whereas XCOM Unknown and 2, you hit terrain.
You wouldn't damage anyone like that, have hit points.
Unless you accidentally hit a car and blew it up.
Yeah, unless you create an explosion or a splash damage type thing that's by design supposed to do that.
Aim past your target in a line and you're likely to hit it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was something that you would try and do if you had a burst weapon. And it's just okay. Oh, so this is actually a little detail that I learned the hard way also early on in XCOM was the consciousness meter.
Mm-hmm.
When you were in smoke like they are here, I didn't know. I found this out the hard way. You gradually lose consciousness because of smoke inhalation or whatever, and your guys will pass out.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to worry about smoke.
Yep.
For the record, I finally understand how will works in XCOM 2.
and sometimes you deal damage to the aliens, and they will pass out before they
Oh yeah,
die.
you can do damage that like knocks their consciousness out before their actual like HP is
And so
expended,
you think they're dead,
and so you're
and
like,
then
good, I
suddenly
got him.
they just get back up 2 turns later and
But you
fire a
have to
burst.
wait for the death scream. That was what you had to do in the original XCOM. If they didn't make a death cry, they weren't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
Always double tap.
If they go, and then like, yes, okay, they're super dead.
In this game where you have to manage how much ammo you're bringing on the
Oh,
Sky
that's
Ranger
the-
because it's limited. It's like
that is another
inventory
thing that-
management in the original XCOM.
Oh, it was so mean.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
I
they're
tried to
just
play
like,
like
wait,
long work, so it's more like the original, and I'm having to manage.
Long War, yes, Long War is
I'm having to-
actually
and
closer.
then you're realizing maybe that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
It's just a little too much.
yeah, just like, oh my goodness, I have to manage like everyone's ammo. Oh,
It's like
Okay,
bringing
I'm
an extra rifle clip is actually worthwhile. Absolutely.
There are people who like the original XCOM more, just like there are people who like Civilization 3 more.
Sure,
They're not
yes.
necessarily wrong, but they like a much
they want the chunk.
they want the chunk, they want,
They want the
finesse,
crunchy
control,
management.
whatever the word is. They don't like things streamlined. They want to be able to control every little detail. And that's some people's cup of tea, but it's not a lot of people.
Well, and that's why bringing XCOM into the modern age was always going to be kind of a tall order, which is what made it very interesting that they succeeded.
Oh, I forgot you could also crouch your guys. That was
Mhm.
another mechanic.
Gotta crouch to get that extra
The game bonus, yes.
Which you can do that in the others if you take a talent.
Well,
and it's
yeah.
just tied into hunker down. But no, but this isn't your favorite one, Pirate.
What? Fine favorite.
We all know your favorite's Terror
Oh,
from
we
the
know
Deep.
your favorite.
Oh,
Terror
boy.
from the Deep, my friend.
Terror from the freaking deep.
You
My goodness.
invented time travel just so you could play it more hours than existed in a week.
So for the uninitiated, we discussed this before on the channel, but there was like a weird glitch with the Steam version of the XCOM series, especially for Terror of the Deep. It never let you. It always said I was playing the game. Like, and I definitely wasn't always playing the game, but it sure
Steam
counted.
says otherwise.
Geez, it's 4 a.m. and Gordon's still playing Terror in the Deep.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
he's
not.
playing TF2 and he's still playing Terror from the Deep.
Oh yeah, like even when I'm not playing it, I'm playing.
I'm saying he's still playing TFTD to this
to this
day.
day.
Even
Team
as
Fortress
we
from the Deep.
speak, right now he's playing Team Fortress from the Deep. No, Terror
If-
from the Deep.
If that was true, how many hours would be logged in that? How
Oh
many
my
years
goodness.
worth of
How
hours?
long
Tens
ago
of
did we
thousands.
live in Carriage Cove?
Tens of thousands. This would have been like 15 years ago or so.
15 times 24 times 356.
Oh my goodness.
But no, I don't know. We just kept giggling about it. It was the dumbest joke, but the fact that it just didn't stop, and just the fact that it's just a palette swap of the original.
Well, not just. I mean, they did introduce new units and new maps and everything, and
Okay,
obviously you had the
at
mechanic
best a DLC.
and they did have a water regime. Like you had to tech up to get a Sky Ranger that could go underwater. That was like a big part of it. I mean, there were interesting concepts, but boy, that like you thought that the difficulty spike was hard in the original XCOM. Like this was a wall. I mean, the first terror mission,
And
like
you
they
had
sent
to pay for it.
I mean, the first I was save scumming. I was not shy about save scumming, and I gave up. I gave up on this game. Like it was way so stinking hard. I'm not entirely sure if this is true. I almost believe that there was like some like bug in the difficulty levels that like the lower difficulties weren't any easier. Like this game was just ridiculous. I mean, the lobster people were like the worst. Like they had like there were bullet sponges, and they would like one hit KO your guys with a melee attack. It was just obscene.
I just remember with just looking at like reviews of things. There was this video that Breakfast like called Mega Man Wily Does It Himself, and it ends with Wily just creating like this unfair level, and then it's the game reviews that come afterwards, and just one of the reviews was unenjoyably difficult. And that's XCOM 2, Terror from the Deep.
Yeah, Terror from the Deep definitely qualifies for that.
And so why'd you play it so much?
Because I was bound and determined to like, well, these are classic XCOM games, and I beat the original, and I had an actually enjoyable time once I figured it out. Like, I can do this. I'm up to this challenge, and people
You're
like
a big
me.
boy.
I will say, and here's a question that I have about like Terror from the Deep, and I guess all of the like the DOS XCOMs is how much of their difficulty do you think can be chalked up solely to incomprehensibility? Like, how much of it is like once you understand it, it's not actually that hard versus it's still hard even if you get what
I would say probably about half. I mean, like it's still very difficult, even once you figure out the mechanics. But yeah, like nothing is like that is something that I cannot emphasize enough. Nothing is explained to you. Like that the fact that crouching gives you an aim bonus, that's just something you have to figure out, like through trial and error. It's not told to you that like, oh, you'd make a better shot if you were crouching. Like,
What's the trope for that? Guide dang it.
dang it. I mean, like maybe. I mean, like this was the era where they probably had a book that came with the game, and like
strategy guide, something like that. Yeah.
Or not even like, I mean, like these old games, old computer games would come with like an official manual.
Instruction
often
guide
like
in the manual.
spiral down.
Oftentimes, because I remember for like the original like Warcraft and whatnot, like the manual has like, hey, here's how to play your first game, and walks you through the mechanics of it as like, hey, here's like a walkthrough.
And it'll explain
your first mission.
Yeah, and it'll explain like every single element of like the UI and all of the phases and everything, because there's a lot. And I mean, like XCOM has not. I mean, like the tactical layer is what comes to people's minds the most, but I mean there's also the base building, and then there was the geoscape, and there was like the whole intercepting the UFOs part of it, and then figuring out the research tree, and then there was nothing of that was explained explicitly.
I mean, this is kind of one of the first 4X, right?
So much more important in the originals.
The base building was like crucial.
Because then your base would get attacked, and how you built your base would determine if the attack was even defensible or not.
Yeah. that was something that like I was like, oh man, why didn't they have a base defense mission in the original XCOM? And then they finally put it back in, but in the Enemy Unknown.
But it's a scripted mission.
Better that way. Definitely better that way.
Well, and you know what? I like the idea of the random. Like the random staff helping you fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you did get that. Like you were at the whim of whomever you happen to have, like available.
Yeah.
And it sometimes could be very awful if you just had like if all your guys were in the infirmary and they were not available. Like not like an XCOM Enemy Unknown. I think they'll allow some of your injured guys to come out and help.
Now they're coming in damaged, but
yeah.
No.
But it's like better hope you didn't put the airport right next to your fuel depot or whatever it was.
Kaboom, kaboom, and you lost.
Yep, game over. Turn 1, you don't get an action. Hidden movement, game over.
No, the
blaster launcher.
Yeah, that's XCOM, baby, to quote Jake Solomon. No,
And people think the modern XCOM is cruel.
I know. I
the
like.
thing is,
It is a little cute.
It is
I mean,
cruel.
Mhm. It's always the by comparison.
Yeah, it's
It's
the
cruel, but is the others cruel and unusual?
it's like no, this thing's like the
Cruel
modern
but
XCOM's
fair?
cruel. The old XCOM's Genghis freaking Khan. It's gonna go straight Caligula on you. It's like, oh, you wanted to have fun? Guess what? No.
suffer.
There's this game will kill you, and there's this game will slowly pull your fingernails off.
Yeah, it was absolutely brutal. Let's see.
And especially in the hardest, I still contend like the hardest missions are always some of the first ones. You know, when you've got
Yeah.
no skilled soldiers, hardly anything in your bag of tricks to work with. I mean, like eventually, you know, once you've played this game enough times, you can kind of scum out, avoid activating too many pods, and you know kind of what to do. But you know, it still can be dang difficult especially on the highest difficulties.
Yeah, the inverse difficulty curve, as people have put it, of XCOM, and this goes for both, the old ones and the new ones, of finding that balance of level up your soldiers, level up your technology, and the game will get significantly easier. And then even as they're throwing more new stuff, it basically is just a timer of you better have better stuff by then, or you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, or you're not going to be able to survive, right?
Well, I kind of feel like all turn-based strategies, tactical games like this have that issue. Because I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics, the first fights are the hardest. Fire Emblem, I feel like the first fights are the hardest. Like
almost always, yeah.
I think it's always the case because you're just so weak. Disgaea, the earlier fights are the hardest. As soon as you get
even
really
Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, like you can, it doesn't take much but one or two hits, and bam, you're down.
But once you get tools in your belt, and you've built up your characters, you have strategies down, the games get a lot easier on these tactical games, almost always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and it's especially because games like this, the turn economy is just so important. Being able to get one more action is the difference between something going down and it not going down. And if it's not at 0 HP, it might as well be at full. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and I mean, when I think about Valkyria Chronicles, everything's about the turn-based economy, just how many turns you have, and it affects every decision you make, even who you bring out on the field, everything. So yeah, it's a big deal on these games.
XCOM, the remakes, one of their biggest decisions, which ticked a lot of people off, as you can see in Long War and everything they change it, is squad size.
Mm-hmm.
Limiting your squad to a base of 4 people.
That is so difficult.
A limitation. And then you can get up to 6, which is still very limited, but feels, it's 50% more units. And then but it's interesting because the game is all built around that very small squad size.
That is something that is very different in the original XCOM. Is you absolutely had to have an enormous bench. I mean, your top guys were gods, but you needed to have A, B, and C teams in order to get through.
But that's the thing with the original DOS XCOMs, though, is that you'd have 30, 40, 50 soldiers.
Yeah, they would only
have
their
5 that are reliable. The rest of them, they're not just at
their meat
best
shields.
their bodies and a blade of armor. Maybe they can get a shot here or there, but at worst, they're active liabilities. They're all gonna panic. Some psychic alien does a mind control,
mind
and
control.
Suddenly
they're
shooting you in the back. And it's okay, you might have 20 soldiers, but you really only have 3 reliable ones at a time.
All right, I think we need to briefly touch on the differences between mind control in the old XCOM and the updates. The original game, mind control was it was foisted upon you without warning, and it was almost always successful. Almost always. Like if they were doing mind control, you were going to get got, and you had to
And
have
the
a way.
things they could do with it.
You had to have a way of knocking your guy out, especially if it was a good soldier that you had. You had to have a way of incapacitating him.
The mind shield might seem like, okay, it's not super important in the modern XCOM, but in
The
old
other one, like
DOS
it's like a
XCOM,
waste of a slot.
it's like, but the old DOS is like, if you did not have a mind shield on a unit, that unit was being taken.
Definitely, you were definitely gonna. I mean, like in, I can't even remember the sound effect. They make this little like the sound when they would be doing the psychic attack, and they'd usually take like 2 or 3, but they were able to do like 5 per turn. I
Oh,
swear.
and it's not even that they took your soldiers and then shot back at you. They would unload your weapons, drop all their explosives,
yeah.
drop all their items, just do whatever cruelest stuff
They
you
went
could
suicide
imagine.
bomber. Yes.
You know what I do when I mind control their soldiers.
Exactly, but they have so much, all that finesse and localized control that everyone loves about these like finicky. I'm missing the words that I want to use, but these finicky games, all that finesse and control. Yeah, the AI knows how to do everything and twice as much stuff as you know how to do, and is willing to do it all.
And they don't have they have the manual already built in. You know, you're still trying to figure things out. They know how to do things that you didn't know were possible.
Which is kind of funny because, that means the AI got weaker as the series went on, not stronger.
Relative to the
Yeah,
players, yeah.
In a sense that's true. And once you get your own capability of mind control, then you're like, oh, game on. And like if you could exploit that, and I've seen some playthroughs where like that's how they do the Mars mission. They just like find a guy like, all right, mind control, and they finish the whole map.
You can buff up super soldiers so that they have a near 100% chance to mind control enemy ethereals.
I did that.
It's
That was an
insane.
achievement in XCOM Enemy Unknown.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Yes.
it really goes to show that sometimes smarter AI is not actually more fun.
Yeah, the mind control mechanics were absolutely brutal. I mean, like, yeah, occasionally you would get mind controlled in Enemy Unknown, but that was like more the exception. In XCOM original, like that was going to happen. It was a question of when.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that's just the brutality of the original.
Yeah.
And there was no getting attached to any soldier whatsoever.
Yeah, like I mean, and it kind of encouraged that because the sprites were like only slightly different. I mean, they had different. I think they had different skin tones and maybe some different hair. I don't even remember. Like
Skin
most
tones,
everyone,
hairstyles.
most everyone had the
Everyone's
guile
got the flat
haircut.
top.
Yeah, most people had the guile haircut. I mean, that was the joke.
So, moving to Enemy Unknown. I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. First of all, what I didn't know is they first tried to do the first-person shooter thing.
The Bureau.
What we're looking at here is a trailer from E3 2011.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen the earlier concept stuff.
I remember that people were pissed.
Well, it's because they hadn't had a proper. It's the same thing as when they did Metroid. Something Force.
Federation Force.
Yeah, Federation Force, where it's the hardcore fan base hadn't been fed in quite some time, and it's like, hey, here's a spin-off game. There's like, we want a freaking Metroid game.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, was this a bad time? And that was this thing, was they hadn't had a proper XCOM game in a very long time. And we get this.
Also at the point when people were starting to really get sick of like the Shades of Brown shooters,
Yes.
Call of Duty clones and everything.
And this eventually would become the Bureau Declassified. But
Okay, so that's the story behind that. Okay,
yeah, this thing would, which I've actually never played Declassified.
I never played it either. It looked. I heard it was kind of mid, but
Yeah.
had interesting.
I
bits to
technically
it.
own it thanks to some Humble Bundle, but that I've never played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But this is what they got, and so there's like no, and so they went back and said, okay, is maybe they want an actual XCOM game. And that's when Jake Solomon kind of enters into the scene. And I can't remember the exact story, but basically he convinced them to let him make a real XCOM game. And he actually talked a lot to Sid Meier's for advice because.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it's
All
because.
for Axis.
Well, that's if I remember the story correctly, when he got, due to how Microprose got sold, the rights to XCOM ended up under Take-Two, whom he was working for, and Take-Two's like, okay, you can make an XCOM game. Then, while he's in the middle of making the XCOM game, Take-Two purchases Firaxis, which brings Sid Meier's back into the fold.
Actually, I think it's 2K, but similar.
Or sorry, 2K.
It's that hilarious splitting and reuniting of people that were once under the Microprose label.
Yeah, and so suddenly he was able to go to Sid Meier's all the time and ask for his advice on things. And so he talked to them a lot, and because one of the big things was, okay, how do we bring this into a modern age to make this a little more accessible? And that's where you get things like the pod system. And it's how you get we're going to have a smaller size and far more customizable soldiers. And so the whole game plan is to kind of get people invested in the soldiers so that it hurts way more when you lose them.
Well, another thing I think that really makes this game enjoyable is the camera system. See, like, just being blind simply while like the enemy's making their turn, it makes it spooky and whatever. But like having the dynamic, zoom ins, especially on the Overwatch shots. It's cinematic. It's great time.
And of course, the zoom in and slow down as your favorite squad mate gets murdered. Which, of course, Splice made 10 times worse by naming after all of his good friends.
Well, it's all Beagle,
from Beagle Rush.
It's all Beagle Rush's fault because Beagle Rush had some group that he edited the name file, so it was all his
friends.
But the thing is, it made it so much more epic. I will never forget when Kaylin went on an absolute murder spree as a sniper and killed like 10 units in one turn. And it's what I wouldn't like if the name was just, Rosario Dominguez, I probably wouldn't remember it. But because it was Kaylin, well, here's the other fun one. So we have do you guys remember the screen name CN Holmberg in Quark?
No.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So her name was Charlie in real life. All I knew her by was CN Holmberg, and she signed up to be on my character name list. Then one day during my my other podcast, my Brandon Sanderson one, Bags is like, hey, do you remember Charlie from Quark? And I'm like, no, I don't. I was like, well, she's now like she's actually a published author now, and she's been through Brandon's class a couple times. We could probably get her on the episode. I'm good friends with her. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. And she's apparently a really well-selling author. I didn't know that at the time. And I'm just like, what was her screen name? It's like, it was just her name. She was CN Holmberg. And I'm like, oh, I remember that name. He's like, why? And I'm like, she's the one who taught me that being up on a truck does not confer any defensive bonuses in XCOM.
The lessons we learn.
Oh, and let me tell you, she paid for that lesson. She suffered for my incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
So I got her killed, and now she's a famous author. So, sign up to be one of my soldiers. Anyway,
But I
But
mean,
yeah,
that's
it-
also
Cover
is
behind an explosive device is also
Yes.
boy.
Cover
for
behind-
all of the craziness that the old DOS system gave, the pod system and 2-point movement system and all of that managed to create some really hilarious
Oh,
moments.
absolutely.
In
What do you
Enemy
mean by the
Unknown.
pod system? Like just how like
Okay.
there's groups of enemies, or
Yes,
how
that's
the
not
enemies
how it
spawn
was
in
originally.
groups and move
Originally,
around.
they come in, they're active, period. And they're all acting independently.
okay,
Whereas XCOM 2, they have the pods, and it's going to be like, okay, a pod of 3 sectoids,
Well,
3
and,
thin
and
men.
critically, when they're revealed, they immediately move. And
Yes,
that was
yeah.
Yeah. They move around the map, but they don't
They
actively
stay at-
shoot
they
unless
stay
it's a
through.
terror
activate,
mission.
quote unquote. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought it was. I just wanted to double check.
Well,
Yeah,
and with
yeah.
things like, if you can get them at max distance, you can take the shot first. And now the
Mhm.
problem with the system that they set up in XCOM Enemy Unknown is that it encourages Overwatch crawling.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Creep and edge around, like
Camping,
knowing
creeping,
generally
and-
where the pods are, and you kind of just like, all right, I'm gonna just like wait here and hope they pop.
It makes
And-
optimal play really boring.
And then you just want the high ground with a squad sight sniper and
Oh yeah,
take out everything from a distance.
Yeah.
everything dies.
They try to in the expansion by putting meld on the system where there's suddenly a timer.
Yeah, to stop you
Stop
from
timers,
turtling so
yeah.
much, basically.
But even then, people are like, well, I'll just get meld if I can get it, and I'll still keep
Yeah,
playing this
like
way 'cause
the
it's
meld
optimal.
was like a very moderate award.
Now, don't
Ooh,
get me
and then
wrong.
we open up the can of worms of how do you feel about the timers in XCOM 2?
Oh boy.
I like them. I like them.
I love them. I
I-
think they are perfectly
them-
balanced for
I like them,
what
and there's a couple of times where I think, but yes, generally I like them.
Yeah.
I think they're perfectly balanced for the style of gameplay that they want you to have. But I also understand that anyone who doesn't like the quick ambush, move to the next ambush, move to the next ambush, anyone who wants to try to take any amount of turns to like heal up, get their bearings, regroup, is gonna dislike the timers because it's not kind
Yeah.
to that.
Well, you got nerfed. Period. But it's one of those. With how we created this, we unfortunately introduced some really degenerate gameplay
Mhm.
that is just
I mean, it
not
did-
going to be fun.
Like I did really like the encouragement of stealth. I mean, that's what heavily, like especially the timer missions where you didn't have the timer start until you were revealed.
Yeah, which is one of the best
Yeah.
traits you can get into the game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean
In
that's
most
what makes
missions, at least.
that what
There are
makes
a
the
few
Reaper
that-
so great.
Yes.
Oh, War of the Chosen, the Reaper. Was the
War-
Reaper
War
a
of the-
mistake, or was the Reaper the best decision ever? I don't know.
Man, War of the Chosen, it's such like chef's kiss. Just gotta say,
Yeah.
like
I
peak gameplay.
Well, so I want to focus on this thing's their expansion first, because I
Yeah,
loved
Enemy
the
Within.
introduction of meld and the mech units and the
The geo splicing or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
the-
what do they call it? Gene splicing?
not
Mhm.
geosplicing. We're not
geo-
putting
yeah.
DNA into the earth.
Not putting
That's
splice
that's-
into the ground.
That sounds like the start of some horror movie. In fact, I think that might be a Batman Beyond episode. Anyway, the thing that I liked about it the most though was the introduction of Exalt.
Oh yes, yes.
The
That
human
was a fun. That was a fun
the human
twist.
supremacists is the best way I could put it, where they're just like, yeah, we're awesome, we're gonna get all the stuff. The idea of evil XCOM was just great. And
Yeah, evil XCOM, and you had to send one of your guys armed with just a pistol to go infiltrate.
to
And,
get the cool jacket.
with the cool
Mhm.
jacket, of course. Man,
And-
I had forgotten about the
A lot of those
Exalt
missions
thing.
did end up kind of feeling just Zerg rushy, but even then,
Yeah.
they were still cool.
I had a lot of fun with them. The downside though is lore wise, Enemy Within didn't happen. in the lore of XCOM 2.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm
that,
like,
lost
I,
too
I
quickly.
really
That wouldn't
feel
work.
like narratively there would have been some really cool, like if Exalt was one of the factions, that would have been pretty cool.
Oh,
in,
so
in War of the Chosen.
Yeah,
so
in War of the
XCOM
Chosen.
2, so XCOM 2 just ignores the DLC for Enemy
Yeah.
Unknown.
Well, okay, let's be real. It ignores the original game too, because it turns
mean,
out
well,
the
it
original game
assumes you
was a
failed.
Yeah, that assumes you failed.
It assumes you failed,
Yeah.
which is the most on point thing XCOM could do. That a sequel assumes you lost. And it's like, looking at the number of abandoned save files I have, yeah, you're kind of
Safe
right.
bet. Safe bet.
Mhm.
You're not wrong.
Thin Men. I just now like
Thin
that is the one.
Men.
That is the one enemy that I actually kind of missed.
Mm.
From
Yeah,
the,
the Thin
in
Men.
XCOM 2.
Good old Sid Meier clones.
Yeah.
The Thin Men were just such jerks. My
It's
gosh.
it's the Beagle Rush line that'll always stay with me. Him just talking about all of the decisions he's making. He's like, but who doesn't care about you moving through concealment behind heavy cover? Thin Men.
Thin Men.
Yeah.
How many walls can they see through and shoot through? More than you.
Well, and then the fact that in the lore, the Thin Men become the Vipers.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
like,
weird, man.
Like and they weren't nearly as intimidating
No.
because they just want to give you a hug.
And if it weren't so easy to get out of the hug.
That's the other thing. Oh, that was right. Like what were those things that would strangulate you in Enemy Within? Those are kind of cool.
Oh, the
Oh,
squids.
oh.
I
Yeah,
forget
the
what they're
squid.
called.
They
yeah,
had
what
a
are they
name.
called?
I can't remember the
mechanical, the mechano squids.
name. Was it Seeker? Maybe.
Could
I
be.
think
Something
it's
like-
Seeker
something like that.
or... One sec.
Oh, I'm gonna fight it first.
Enemy Within enemies.
That was kind of a neat addition.
No, it's just the... That's not...
Seeker. It
all
is
of
Seeker.
them.
You were right.
I
Was the
remember.
Seeker, yeah.
Yeah. But that they were cloaked and they
Yeah.
would move around the map, and like you would like even if you activated a pod, like you might not notice them.
And then
like,
suddenly you're like, okay, they're somewhere here. Wait,
and then suddenly uncloak, strangle, and you're like, no!
so everyone's sitting like you're having to move. Like it's such a cartoon with everyone's like back to each other, like trying to make it so they could never attack you.
And it was like you could find them if you knew exactly how the movement worked and could trace around the lines that they were drawing, because they were invisible but they still took up space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you had an explosive, you could get them.
Well, the big thing that changed everything
You
is
couldn't
when
target
when,
them directly.
when you got the it was the genetic mod that like you have like an
Maybe
aura
eyesight
around
or
you
something, or-
that
Oh yeah, that would unveil them. Yes.
was like
unveil them
static
or
skin or
show
something.
or show off the like you could see things through walls. Like you couldn't actually see them, but it would it would create a blip so you know, okay, there's mobs on the other side of this wall.
Oh right. Yeah. Kind of like
Mhm.
a heartbeat sensor in a sense.
Yeah. There was
a lot
something
of those gene splices were really cool and really useful, and it's
Yeah,
a shame that
yeah.
it was just like 3 of them were like so overpowered compared to everything else.
bioelectric skin. That's what it was.
Mhm.
Oh
But the-
yeah, that was a good one. My gosh.
But it was against mimetic skin.
Yeah, and mimetic skin is just like, so it's like, okay, I need one with bioelectric just so that I have this ability, because it's good to have the ability. But yeah, mimetic skin was so busted.
Mhm.
But what did
You
the
got
mimetic
it
skin
from
do again?
killing a seeker.
Mimetic skin was if you ended a turn behind cover, you would stealth.
You would cloak? Oh my gosh.
As
Wow.
long as you-
Oh yeah. That's right.
And so there was an achievement to finish a map with no, like with one soldier. And I wanted that
Oh.
achievement. And so I got a sniper.
Sniper would be the way.
A sniper with a psi, like the psychic stuff. And so you mind control something to force it to be your scout. while you're just hanging back. But the thing that ruined it for me was suddenly I got Seekers on that mission. And I'm like, okay,
Oh no.
how do I do this? Like, because
Mhm.
I can't
If you get strangled and you're only one, you're toast.
Yeah, and so I'm over here just like, okay. And so now they can't see me either because I've got mimetic skin. And so I'm playing this cat and mouse game of trying to be like, okay, where would they be? And I'm like trying to wait until like, wait, okay, I can't see them there. Okay. That I can't walk there. So they must be there. Okay. Do I have Okay, I have a grenade. Okay, but this grenade has to hit both of them. Oh, but the grenade ends my turn, and it was just I got through it. I have the achievement, but it was one of those things where I'm just sitting here. At a certain point, it becomes a logic problem, right? Where you're
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
How do I
Forget what I did on that to get that achievement because it
I don't
was
think I
so
even
long
tried.
ago, but it was
I don't think I even tried for
so
that.
tense.
No, there was something with it. I don't remember what, but it was a ton of fun.
You could get a berserker mutation, right? Like that you could crash through stuff.
I don't know about that. The mech
my-
would do that.
Oh, maybe it was the mech that was doing that.
The
I
mech
just
crashed
remember.
through stuff.
Well, I remember there was both the mech and the mutation that would let you jump up levels.
Yes,
is fantastic.
yeah, the little
the
spring
thin men
legs.
feet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
either that or you could get the rocket boots on the mech.
Oh,
Mhm.
the ability to start traversing vertically is such a game changer on that.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you get like Icarus armor on your sniper.
Whee! Just go flying around. It's great.
Yeah.
No, I really feel both the Firaxis XComs really came into their own with their DLC.
Mhm.
Like the DLC in both instances made the game from like this is a fun game to holy crap. Okay, this is the definitive version of this game.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that I think is the strength of Enemy Unknown out of all these is I think it has the most cohesive storyline of
Mhm.
all of them. Especially with the interplay between Valen, Bradford, and oh my goodness, Chen. I'm like, it's the same in both games. Why am I forgetting? It's just a different character. Which okay,
even though Valen's the most annoying.
Oh,
Don't you use explosions?
She won't shut up
even
about it.
So, it's one of the things of like people remember a small subset of her interactions because it just because it happens all the time. Meanwhile, the rest of her character is not as like averse
Naggy and
to
annoying.
stuff
Yeah.
as it.
No,
as
she's a mad
her mission pop-ups
scientist.
are. Yeah.
Which they emphasize in the DLC of
Mhm.
XCOM 2.
Oh,
But-
yes.
Well, yeah. Well, not to mention all the ways that she would torture and interrogate all the
Yes.
different.
Oh yes, she would run the interrogations.
Which I still loved your dubbing music over
Okay.
the.
Yeah, something that I would never do with current YouTube, their ability to track music. But yes, I did like I thought it was a funny bit. For my 1000th stream, we rewatched some of those old. Well, I didn't call the Tales from the Infirmary back.
Splice strategies.
Splice strategies. That's what
My
it was.
strategies, yes.
Yeah, I rewatched those. Oh my goodness, it is so embarrassing. It is so embarrassing to go back and watch your old content.
They were fun.
Yeah,
They were fun.
It
I
is.
mean,
They
goodness,
were fun.
just when we started this, when it sees all the units deploying out of the ship, I have Who's There playing in my head
Yes.
still.
Speaking, I don't know how those videos still have never gotten any content claims against them. And
Wow,
I don't,
nice.
I
Maybe
don't
your
know
agent
how.
flew
I
under the
Smash Mouth in
radar.
particular
I am
does
blatantly
their
using
stuff.
Smash Mouth music. I use other music. I don't know how I have escaped. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Nice.
Also, I forgot. So the mission we just watched, from Beagle Rush's run, Operation Burning Serpent, it led to one of his funnier quotes. I think like in a couple more missions, like so Burning Serpent is in Japan. In a couple more missions, he got a Demon Serpent somewhere in Brisbane, Australia, where he's from. And it's like, now you may remember that in Japan we had Operation Burning Serpent. Here in Australia we have Demon Serpent. So the obvious difference being in Japan, the snakes are on fire, whereas in Australia, our snakes are Satan.
Sounds about right.
It's like I've seen Australian wildlife. The best comment I've ever heard about Australian wildlife was some old cracked list where they said Australia's where God put all his end game content. It's just
Yes.
the best.
Game content. That's great.
And it's like, yep, that's the proper description of Australian
and
wildlife.
the old internet post of like some massive spider in Australia where they put like a red line over it just to show like how big it was, and they said like even in Australia the spiders have hit points.
Good times. But no, so okay, XCOM 2.
Oh goodness.
This is my favorite of all the XCOMs.
No,
One,
there-
they
I
embrace
mean,
the
I don't know,
modding
XCOM
community.
3 could be my favorite if they ever make one. Just saying, guys.
I, in all honesty, I sincerely doubt we'll ever get a proper XCOM 3. The reason being, I just think
Well, the
Even-
original guys aren't there
Yeah,
anymore
moved
for
on.
one
well,
thing.
they do tease Terror from the Deep though, don't they?
they do, but so Jake
tease
has talked about how they left things purposely unexplained and open-ended because they knew they weren't coming back to it. And so they wanted to leave it open. So if they decide to do stuff in the future with it, they can either choose to pick up all the vague pieces we left
some of those
around
threads,
for them,
yeah.
or do what they did and just do a full reboot. And plot-wise, if Chimera Squad's the direction they're going, yeah, I think they should reboot.
Well, I don't think it was the Jake Solomon team that did that one for one.
There was
so.
a couple
enough.
people from Jake's team that did it.
Sure.
And I respect with Chimera Squad, they tried to do something different, but I just I didn't like their combat.
Though
I
there
like
is
the breaching,
the
but I don't like the combat.
No, I do feel like with XCOM 2, there is one elephant in the room though. Its install size. That thing is a beast.
Well, and
There's
so
a point where I'm like,
Well,
dude,
so
this thing like
that-
takes up the
that-
whole hard drive.
that's actually by design because they left it as open-ended as they could to leave all the nodes because XCOM 2, they embraced the modding community.
Oh, so it's all like unpacked in the files.
Yes. And so it's specifically like they brought in some like the Long War modders from XCOM 1 or from
Okay,
Enemy
yeah,
Unknown.
The Long War deserves a little bit of mention. I did
Yes.
actually play an entire Iron Man. I don't think I did Impossible. I think I did the second hardest, but it was hard enough. It's like the perfect blending of original XCOM with the modern enhancements, and it's a slog. When they say it's a long war, it's a long. I think that campaign that I went through, I think it took me, I want to say like 100 hours to complete.
But that's the coolest thing about the modern XCOM scene is there are entire games built on top. Like XCOM 2 is a platform now.
Yeah, I haven't done they've done the Long War for War of the Chosen, haven't they?
There's Long War of the Chosen,
Which I have not done because I
there's
just
another
don't think I was ready for that.
I can't remember what it's called. There's another popular mod that adds a bunch of subclasses.
Like a huge overhaul type thing.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. There's a guy I like watching. I rate him a lot on Saturdays named Der Ava. He's a German guy who he plays that. And I just like listening to him explain things because it just sounds more fun when it's spoken with a German accent.
Well, even just the options that they allow you, especially even in XCOM 2, like there are some really interesting and funny gameplay options.
Yeah.
Like the roulette, the soldier roulette,
Yep.
like the class roulette. That's hilarious to do.
It definitely is. One of the big things I like that they chose for this is they said, okay, what were the things that everyone clearly felt were absolutely necessary? And so like suddenly your snipers all have squad sight as just default. Because they're just like, okay, everyone always picks it anyway. Instead of giving a false option that no one's ever going to take, let's just make
Snapshot
it.
had some builds, but vast majority was squad
Yeah,
sight.
it's
Well,
like,
because
let's just-
wasn't the other option snapshot,
yeah,
which
and it's
which
just-
was cool, but like squad sight was just so much better.
yeah, it's just better. It's just that simple. It's
Just-
just
yeah.
The snapshot build was solely for if you got all the way up the leveling tree and could basically just move behind enemies and then get the one where if you get a kill on a flanked enemy, you refresh your turn.
And that's how Kaylin got 10 kills in one turn.
Mhm.
It was she had a spider suit, and it was in an area.
Oh, there
It
you
was in
go.
an area with a bunch of chrysalids that had just enough health for her to pop them, and she had just enough, like, because she also had the auto loader, so she was getting free reloads, and so I could use the spider suit, which was a free action, to keep getting actions to move again, so I could get an angle on a different one. And she was just Spider-Manning around the room, just popping.
That's why in XCOM 2 they limited the number of grapples you could use.
Yeah. And so, but it was a ton of fun. But so I like that they just baked that in the kit. I like that they went with the grenade launcher instead of the rocket launcher, because it's just, while the rocket launcher was now 90% accurate, there's just a 1 in 10 chance they just blow
That you
up.
just wipe everybody.
But if it was at 75%, you would take that shot and be cognizant of it. But at 90%, you can't.
You're like, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Because it's like, what are the odds? It's only a 1 in 10 chance. And I can't sit here and plan for a 1 in 10 chance the entire time.
But XCOM veterans will have the sweating Jordan Peele meme going
Yep.
on.
XCOM manages to find a way for it to be like, okay, ideally you need every single action to work the way you want for your plan to go off without a hitch. But you always need to have backup plans
You just
A,
need
B,
at
and C because
least
something
a couple of
will always go
contingencies.
wrong.
Yeah.
You don't know what, but something is going to go wrong.
As far as the whole XCOM people sweating was, I can't remember what the object was they discovered in deep space recently. Like, the object has a 99% chance to miss Earth, and then it's just XCOM players, and it's just the Jordan
The
Peele
sweating,
sweating.
yeah.
Because everyone who's played XCOM for any length of time has missed a 99% shot somewhere. And you're just sitting there, you have got to be kidding me.
And
but at the same
that's-
time, and we never acknowledge it, there have been times where you have been outflanked and outgunned, and the aliens just miss. And you're just like, I don't deserve this.
Or you pull off a 5% shot that saves your
Yes.
bacon.
Well, it's
Yeah.
again, I keep going back to Beagle Rush, where he talked, like, he had this whole thing where he was in a pickle, and the solution, like, how do I get out of this? He's like, I have to hit a 30% shot, because if not, we're team wiping, type of thing. And he's like, I've been watching a lot of Battlestar Galactica, and so Captain Adava says sometimes you just have to roll a hard 6. And there
Here's
are
a-
times where you just have to roll the hard 6.
Here's the thing.
Mhm.
If XCOM showed you the accuracy of your Overwatch shots, I think a lot of people would just stop using Overwatch.
Yeah, they should,
It's-
because Overwatch has like a negative 20% penalty.
Yeah,
I
there's a
think.
pretty big debuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it's true. When I think about Overwatch, like they hardly ever land. Yeah,
which is why
and they
it's
waste
like,
a lot of your ammo.
yeah,
But
it's Overwatch should only be done in bulk. It's like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I either need everyone to be on Overwatch or no one to be on Overwatch.
But that's also something that XCOM 2, if I remember right,
You could get an upgrade
better, I think.
for. I think there was, I can't remember which class. There was a class that would like
The
eliminate
ports
the
are the
debuff.
ones that tend to get the bonuses to Overwatch.
Yeah. I can't remember if they changed it in XCOM 2 or if I'm just imagining it, but I remember in XCOM 1, Overwatch, all your soldiers would fire at the very first alien that came
Yes.
out and would just ignore
yeah,
everyone
that was-
else. So you'd use
that
all your
was
Overwatch
a
shots on the
huge
sectoid.
issue.
Yeah, the progressive Overwatch shots in XCOM 2 is just
Mhm.
way better. It's just a much better system.
But it is kind of hilarious, to like just see like the one poor sectoid that happened to turn his head gets,
Yes.
riddled with like
You
5
just get smashed
assault
like
rifle
a
clips.
Gallagher
Yeah.
watermelon.
Mhm.
And all the other aliens like, holy crap, they really hated Glipthorpe.
It's like, well, I'm glad he went first.
Thanks, Glip.
now it's clear for the rest of us.
Mhm.
But so so we talked about how the original was like a horror. XCOM, this one is more of it's a cyberpunk thriller.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I can see that.
It was Sonic Saturday morning.
It kind of is. The thing
Kinda.
yeah, kind of, because it definitely has like the thing that's so interesting is I actually don't see a lot of this has a very interesting theme of like what the story is of all the governments getting co-opted and everyone kind of placating the aliens. Meanwhile, Soylent Green is people. And it's just sort of this idea of these, you're the resistance now. You're no longer the...
Well, like before, you're kind of like humanity's last stand, but now this time,
Yeah.
this is the dystopian future.
You
that
were the
you're
best.
fighting
Now
against.
you're like all that's left.
You're the best. You're the
Yeah.
best of what's left.
the best of what's left.
And,
Yep.
and if you actually take the time to like read the character bios, it's obviously all randomly generated, but you'll see that where it's like so and so fought the aliens, or they were in a prison camp, or we're fairly certain, we don't know their past, but we're fairly certain they spent time in a jail cell. But you're taking who you can get. It's one of the things I'm going to be doing in when I get Tales from the Infirmary. I'm really trying to build up the fact that we have a propaganda campaign going and we're trying to recruit people.
Well,
So
I mean,
the
they even encourage
storylines.
it with the posters
Yes,
and whatnot.
well, so I got a mod that has a bunch more, and so I'm fully leaning into it. And
Well, yeah, because you got the cheesecake mod for your posters.
Exactly. And so I'm gonna have I
The
have this whole-
cheesecake mod? I don't
it's
know.
not
that
it's
one.
not called that, but I think it's called like the calendar pose pack. And so
Okay.
it's got a bunch of like
Pin-up
stereotypical
girl
like
poses.
calendar girl poses, and
Oh,
even some
Model
calendar boy
poses.
poses as well. But and so I have this whole thing where I have I'm trying to remember the speech I have where it's all about, it's like, look, it was good enough for the boys in World War II. We're gonna make it work in World War UFO. And it's like they have mandatory service, we have fan service. They have Advent burgers, we got beefcakes. Just
we have waifus and husbandos.
yeah, and it's just build. And so I'm gonna be, the whole idea I'm planning for this is like the posters I'm making for all of them. They're all like collectible trading cards. And so, okay, this is revealing a little bit. I have one character, I don't know why, but the random, selector gave her the Jason hockey mask. And instead of removing it, I've
You
kept
just keep it.
I keep
The mask stays on.
The mask stays on, but like we do the whole, we give her the makeover so she's hot or whatever. That's the other thing I'm going with is like, because of all the gene therapy clinics, all of Hollywood's plastic surgeons are out of business, so we were able to get them on the cheap. And so I have her go through it, but she keeps the mask, and all of them have like a tagline underneath. And I gave her red eyes because the person who did it requested red eyes. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is perfect. And so her tagline underneath her name says, "You can fix her."
Oh no! Draco in leather pants.
Oh no! Oh no!
I am really proud of that one. The other one, it's an early my Reaper. I'm spoiling a joke, but I mean by the time I end up coming out with this, it's going to be like a year or two later. Let's be real. My Reaper, I went to take off her helmet because I get a Reaper in the opening thing. It's like, all right, let's see. Well, one of the more popular like asset packs that's there, they have the glitched invisible head from I think it's from
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, from Assassin's Creed, where it's just like the dentures and the
Floating
eyeballs.
eyes?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
gosh.
eyeballs
And,
and
and
gosh.
I didn't realize
You
when I
showed
was
this.
doing it that it had randomly selected that for her head. And I'm like, all right,
Oh,
let's see what
no.
we're working with. Take off the helmet. It's like, oh my! I've heard of Butter's face before, but okay, don't worry, we got the best. We're gonna fix this.
Oh goodness!
It's just, and
It's
it's one of
so
those. It's just too perfect. I have to do it.
And it's so interesting to me because it's like this is a game that appeals to so many different types of people, because like I am someone who pretty much just about never mods their games, or like almost never. And I still love XCOM 2 as well, and so it's interesting where it's like, yeah, XCOM 2 really leaned into and appealed to that mod support and whatnot, but you don't have to mod the game to still have a good time with it.
Yeah. But that's the thing I like the most about it, is the fact that when you really do lean into a modding community, you can let the fans kind of like, this game is how old now? We're coming up
Like
on 10 years, aren't we?
2016,
So I mean,
yeah.
XCOM Enemy Unknown was like 2012.
Enemy Unknown was 2012. XCOM 2 was 2016.
Yeah, so we're coming up on 10 years for XCOM 2.
Dang.
And it's
Yeah,
still
man.
quite the vibrant community, and it's because the mod scene just keeps it going, and it's one of those things that they keep releasing more, like, you know, it's like, hey, new generation of consoles. Hey, here you go. We're just going to throw XCOM 2 on it. And
It's gonna be like $10 and it's gonna be great.
As you know, they just keep making money off the same game over. It's the same thing with Skyrim. Why does Skyrim last forever? It's moddable.
I'm not convinced that another Elder Scroll game is ever coming.
Hey, they re-released Oblivion.
I mean, see?
Yeah,
that's not really a new game.
Hey, look, I saw Skyfall. I don't know if we want Bethesda making a new one. No,
They did show that trailer of just a green pasture. Maybe the point of the green pasture
what was
is
it, like
we're not adding
that
anything.
3 years
We're
ago
leaving
now?
that for the
No,
modding
that was like
community.
8 years ago.
8 years? My gosh, I like.
Wait, that was 8 years ago?
When the first teaser poster or whatever was shared.
Yeah, of the title screen drop. Well, they
for
did
TS6.
say,
Oh my gosh.
they did say when that came out of like, hey, we are going to be working on it. We're going to finish Starfield first, and then it's going to be the next project after
And
Starfield.
Starfield was so long in coming, and
I swear eventually Bethesda's just gonna, make an empty world with a physics engine and just leave the rest for the modders to do.
They
and then
did. That
claim
was
it just works.
Fallout 76.
oh my gosh.
Zing! Well played. No, but it's one of those things. It's fans are infinite content generation machines. If the game is good, it really works to do it. And it makes the lifespan of your game last longer. And the other thing it does that I really like is, look, fans, if you let them mod, they will find you what's wrong with your game far quicker than your dev team ever can, because it's just the law of large numbers.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things I really like about, like, for example, early XCOM 2 was they gave the modders access, but one of the things they just said is like, okay, let's just take some of the things from the more popular mods and just put it baseline in the game. It's kind of simple.
That's why you then also got a lot of like the whole randomizer stuff and whatnot built in with the second wave things.
That's what second wave. I was trying to remember like what that. Yes.
You know what? If they ever do come out with an XCOM 3, I think it's gonna lean more into the randomness and try and give more roguelike elements. If I had to guess.
I could see it. I hesitate on that because part of the enjoyment of XCOM is that longer campaign feel, which feels kind of at odds with something that ends up being too random and roguelike.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a balance they could find with it.
I will say that's one of the things I like the most about War of the Chosen is when you get the special soldiers, and the fact that yes, you will get, what you will get. Like, you always have the same options, but then you have the bottom row where it could be something from any other class. And sometimes you're just like, okay, what am I going to do with this? And then other times you're like, oh my goodness, they gave me a godling as a character.
Sometimes they do.
Because like when you get the Templar and it's like, oh, immune to explosions. Oh, they got Bladestorm. Oh.
Or they get the shield after a kill. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I guess if you did, since you said roguelike and I'm thinking longer campaign, I guess a game that you could do something similar to would be like Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
That's the most similar to XCOM of like, hey, you have your soldiers, your adventurers, you level them up, and then they all die horribly eventually later on, including getting weird different mental traits and all that type of stuff.
Boy, that's the other thing that it's frustrating, but it works in XCOM 2 is the random phobias they get.
Yes.
One of them, one of my mods added even more of them, so more of a variety, and some of them are like, some of you're just like, no, dang it, you can't. That's bad. Like, well, I got a ranger that got, whenever an enemy comes within close range, they have a chance to panic. That's
no.
Like, okay, we have got to move up our timeline on getting you therapy. Because
I had a nickel for every soldier I had that had a fear of missed shots.
Oh dear. or the one of the things is skittish, I think it's called, where like every time they move, there's a chance they'll just reload. I got one of my
the compulsive reloader or whatever. Yeah.
And I got like because I always put my auto reloaders on my heavies because they just have such small clips. And I'm like, okay. And then he got it, and I forgot about it, and he kept wasting my free reloads. I was like, gosh dang it! Stop doing that! Freaking Dark Search, man.
Yep.
And again, see, I remember this specific person because it's the one person on the name list that I remember. The other thing, okay, and I know this is a minor thing, the extractions with the ropes always feels cool when you're just like, wee, just flying off into the sky, especially if you get the evac all mod, so that you can.
Yeah, the evac. I think the evac all mod is like mandatory.
Yeah, and just so you don't have to do it one at a time, but all of them doing it at the same time, and then it's always the supports rover always takes a bit to remember that it needs to extract too.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just
I
like
guess I
this.
didn't realize Evac All was a mod.
Yeah, it's a
Yep.
mod, but it's
It is one
another
of the few mods I have installed.
Yeah,
for XCOM
and it's
2.
because it's like, and if they ever-
Overwatch All is another one.
yeah, it's another good one.
That's going a bit too far. I like having that level of more finesse and control, but
Oh, you can still absolutely choose each one over.
yeah, it gets to the point where it's like once there's so many buttons on my heads-up display, it's like the risk of me accidentally pressing the wrong one is too high.
That I really wish more games that are turn-based would implement into the breaches undo.
Yes, an undo.
Where it's like, if it didn't affect anything, let me undo it.
Well, Fire Emblem Three Houses kind of had that.
Yeah,
Okay.
the time
turn
pulse.
wheel in the last 3 Fire Emblem games is arguably way too overpowered, but that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was limited use with it, but yeah. Now, granted, Disgaea lets you undo movement if you didn't attack yet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think for sure movement, like especially in XCOM 1, sometimes the pathing can be screwy and send you through, like, I don't know, like pop a pod that you weren't intending to even go in that direction, and then you're really hosed.
The lack of knowledge of what enemies are going to be in your range, in your line of sight in XCOM 1 is one of the few things that is actively keeping me from going back and replaying that game again over 2.
Yeah. Well, especially where they don't have the what is it, the waypoint movement where you can customize your path.
Mm-hmm.
No, the other thing that I just want to talk about briefly with XCOM 2 that I liked, they experimented with trying to have boss characters. And so their first experiment were the alien hunters, where the hunters get an action.
Holland's experiments.
Yes, every single time you take an action, they take an action.
Oh boy,
which is so overpowered that I never feel guilty for just getting the Reaper a repeater.
A repeater kill, yes.
I never feel guilty for it because like that's just
Wait,
busted.
are you talking about the Valen's rulers?
Yeah, the alien rulers is what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
The Chosen, however.
Oh, you mean the ones that give you like the armor, right?
Yeah.
The
Chosen,
or the
however, are really like I now they still aren't like not all are created equal because like the assassin is just by far the worst because she just moves around and you don't know where she is.
Stealth, yes.
And she's just gonna get a free hit on
and
you unless you get really
annoying
lucky.
Daze attack too with the entire line.
Yes,
Breaker wave or whatever.
And if you have enough mind shields, the warlock is just you just nerf him completely.
Just a damage sponge at that
point.
No,
the other two are not nearly as like the assassin's the worst.
I will say the one that actually like gets me to wipe a high level team the most is the hunter.
A hunter? Yeah,
well,
he can
really.
Because the issue is he just hangs back and snipes and you could just get out and stuff like that. It's not that big a deal. However, if he gets into close range and actually starts just shooting at your guys, because he has bleed armor or bleed ammo that
bleed rounds, yeah.
Oh yes.
And he'll just take multiple shots and then throw a flashbang at a bunch of your guys. And he's just Spider-Manning everywhere, so you can't get. The worst is when like his weakness is like weakness takes more damage from people from higher elevations. Oh, good. I'm never at a higher elevation.
Yeah, because he's always grappling up to the tower or whatever that's around him.
Yeah, and so it's just one of those things where but then sometimes you get like they take extra damage from Templars and close range attacks. It's like, oh,
like, well, I know what to do with you.
Or the worst for them is when it's like you take extra damage from explosions and Reapers. It's like, oh dear, I am going to chunk your health so much. You have no idea. But that's part of the fun of the Chosen is you have to start playing around their strengths. Like when you get ones that are like, I'm immune to explosions, you're like, oh
Yeah, that's annoying.
crap. That was half my game plan. Okay, let's see. How do I kill you?
It's one of those things also of like, I would love to play with the story content in XCOM 2 again, but not starting with a faction soldier
You
and
can.
having to do all of that stuff.
Oh yeah,
is-
you can change that. Those are options.
It's a second wave option. You
Yeah,
can,
well, yeah, I know you can change that and adjust, but it's just like part of me wants to do the story mission, story content again, where it's like you have like you go on the mission with the named Reaper and then the not whatever it's
skirmishers. The
the
ones that
skirmisher
are clearly
gets-
worse than the other two.
Yeah, it's like I'm interested in that, but at the same time, but it's like doing those story missions means you have to do like the things you give up as part of the start of your playthrough just kind of feels bad. I don't know, it's mixed. It's all tutorial anyway, so ultimately it doesn't matter.
I do like that you have the cast of gargoyles at your side.
Well, no, it's the cast of Star Trek at your side.
It's so
gargoyles
weird though.
It's
It's
mostly Star Trek.
It was a very bold decision that they made to have playing the tutorial start you off worse than not playing the tutorial.
Yeah.
To tutorialize death.
Well, they're just trying to set expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, Overwatch shots like that make me so nervous.
But the
Where it's-
tutorial, I don't know.
where
The
it's going
tutorial, I
through
think,
the
is
floor.
important for the story, though.
It is.
Yeah,
Which is why, like I said, it's like I kind of want to play through it, but I also feel so hamstrung by it feels like it's just a flat out worse mechanical start, like player power wise.
as a tutorial though, it's one of the better
Very
gaming
effective.
tutorials I've ever seen.
I mean, like,
Both one
cinematically,
and
it's
two, I
great.
think.
Because they teach
One
you
was
about
a very good tutorial.
because they teach you about
two-
everything.
I'm gonna be honest, 2, I always lost in the second tutorial mission and then just restarted with the basic thing because for some reason that mission just felt so much harder. Because it's like, hey, congratulations, you're now fighting sectoids and all of this with a team of rookies and one, like, assault or something. And it's just like, cool. I'm doomed.
That's the biggest thing that I've seen a lot of threads like, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to beat the game on impossible. Like and it's like, how do I do it? And one of the biggest things you got to learn is what can you afford to ignore? And one of the weirdest
Mhm.
things to say is like in this pod, the sectoid is the thing you actually want to ignore. Cause the odds of him shooting at your guys is really low, but the odds of him just trying to resurrect one of those idiots or trying to
making
mind control one of your
zombie, yeah.
guys is
Mhm.
is high. And so the odds of immediate damage are really low. And the other one that's really weird is the sector or sectopod? Wait, or am I inventing that?
Sectopod's the big robot thing.
Yes,
That's a high level.
sectopod. Mectopod is the one I'm thinking of from Enemy Within. The sectopod in XCOM 2 a lot of times is the one you want to ignore because frankly, the part of him that's the most dangerous is the fact that he just wrecks everything he's walking through.
Removes cover.
But yeah,
explodes
most of the
things,
time, at least on its first turn, it'll just do the big charge up beam.
lift
and
up
you
or
can-
charge. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can run away. And so you're just like, so what you're actually wanting to do is kill all his support because he's walking around destroying all the cover. And you're just like, okay, I need cover though.
Then there's the gatekeeper. I think the gatekeeper's
Gatekeeper
worse.
is the worst.
Yeah, Gatekeeper is the most outright dangerous because it's also the most outright BS thing
Yeah.
of just like,
I mean,
oh,
it
we can
has like
suddenly do the
tons of
open
armor,
gates,
and
and
I'm
it'll
up in the
mental
air.
affect
So I'm up
everyone
in the air.
while
One
dealing
thing,
damage
so
that's
I get
unavoidable.
an additional 45% defense.
It's floating. It's always hardened armor, so you can't crit it unless you have like massive crit bonuses. It's enemies like the Gatekeeper that don't make me feel bad for using a repeater on a Reaper.
Yep. Got to teach them a lesson, and that lesson,
Yeah.
don't mess with me. One thing I like, because was someone's interpretation of like, why is the Gatekeeper so hard to hit? They're like, it makes a lot more sense if you think of every single turn as everyone's actions are narratively happening at the same time. And it's like a 4-second burst. And so if you did it like that, like, you know, the way like a special ops mission would be in real life, where it's this highly coordinated, get in, get out type of thing, it would suddenly look a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just what I liked that concept. It makes me kind of want to. It would be so annoying to edit together, but edit together a mission like that.
Yeah.
like real like simultaneously run everyone's turns.
Yeah, sort of thing. Like, it'd be a nightmare to edit, like I said.
Mhm.
But just that idea of getting this whole flow of, or even just removing all the decision making, where it's just boom, 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 and you see how short the actual action
No,
of
like,
the mission is.
I think that could be an interesting mod if someone was.
Interesting example, but you'd have to do it in like a retrospective. Or
Well, yeah,
like,
there would be
You know
like
what?
the.
It'd be like a
Think-
mission
like the Civ
replay at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
think like the Civilization replay. It would be like
Yeah.
that.
The
That's
Civ
fair,
replay
that's fair.
or the or like Super Meat Boy, where you get to see all your lives happen at the same time.
Mhm.
And so you see where you died the most. Like, that would be
I don't know how much more we have on this. I do want, at least before we finish, to do a little
Okay.
brief tangent on the multiplayer.
Yes,
but-
go ahead. Let's
Oh,
finish
so
up
you
with
actually
that.
did the multiplayer. I never did.
I did it
So
one time.
I managed to do the multiplayer just before the servers got shut down so I could get my achievements.
Wait, is that a mod or was that like an actual thing?
It was,
It was a
an
thing.
actual thing. They
It was-
had
it was built
servers,
in.
they had...
I
don't know if
didn't even know they
matchmaking, but
had
they
it.
like, server lobbies
Yeah,
for
it's not really
multiplayer.
a massive part of the scene.
Yeah, but it was a surprisingly well done multiplayer simulator for a turn-based tactics game. And this is something that a lot of people want, but oftentimes is just really lacking. The things I think went really well for it, the point buy system, making it feel a little bit like tabletop Warhammer almost. Of it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you can set a limit of how many points you're worth. And so yeah, you can get, a rookie for like 600 points, or you could bring in a super kitted out soldier for like 8,000 points. But then maybe that's the only soldier you have versus, and then you start mixing in the aliens as well.
Yeah. The thing that, so the only time I really played the multiplayer, we did it one time for a stream, and it was Enemy Within, and I was playing against Breakfast, and I then realized, wait, I can spend all my points on Seekers. And if he doesn't buy one battle scanner or one, something.
Mhm.
And so I did that just to see, first of all, just to mess with him, because I go into stealth and he's moving all strategically. Meanwhile, I have my Seekers kind of like hiding in a corner where he won't look, because how would he be there already? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm kind of just watching him move, and I can tell he's just sitting over here like, where the crap is he? And then I struck, and I wrapped up all 4 of his soldiers at the same time. He's just like, oh, you suck. But the key was, he remembered to spend his points on a battle scanner the rest of the way, because there was just the threat.
Just in case.
But yeah, and I So I bring it up because I have 100% achievements in both XCOM 1 and 2, and the multiplayer achievement was the final achievement that I got for XCOM 1, if I remember right. But it was also one of the most hard won achievements because not only did I think I had to go to a Discord channel or something in order to find people to play with, but they also were not the type of people to just be like, hey, I'll just lose a match against you for free to give you the achievement. It's like, no, we're going to play at least a couple matches first. I'll eventually lose one to you, but you're going to have to earn it. And it was several matches. I learned a lot about multiplayer XCOM 2 over the span of just a couple hours, and there was a lot of potential depth to that using the different loadouts and the different soldiers, where you wanted to spend points versus where you were okay just kind of slumming it with weaker units. What builds were viable even. I don't remember much of it at all now because this was years ago, but
Yeah.
it was a very good time, and it makes me sad that all the servers are down now and that's not something that's available anymore.
Well, it's why I'll never get 100% in it, because one of the things is the bubonic achievement.
I wish that we could do a local connection or a direct connection game and have that.
Yeah, well, considering they have
not even a thing.
Considering the modding scene's so big, I'm surprised they didn't allow for private servers.
I'm willing to bet there is a mod that lets you do it. If I had to guess. Now the question is, does it interact with the achievement system?
Yeah, that might be another thing.
But the bubonic achievement is such a weird concept where it's just you have to play against someone who has the achievement to get it. It's just the idea of the achievement that spreads, and so I'm willing to bet there was one guy on the dev team, maybe Jake Sullivan himself, who had the original.
Who had the original one set on himself.
Really cool, and stuff like that has been used since then a decent number of times, but it's a really cool dev tracking thing of hey, how much of our player base is actually interacting with each other when they interact with this, and it turns out it doesn't take very long for everyone to have the achievement.
Well, according to this, it does, because only 6.2% of players have this achievement.
Well, how many of those of the players who actually played an online multiplayer match against a random person?
No, and that's the thing. It's what is this actually, tracking?
Yeah.
I remember.
Did you get the achievement, Mithril?
I have 100% in both, so yes, I did.
All right.
Yeah, no, I just remember the lead developer for World of Warcraft. He talked about how you as a live service, you have to track a lot of things. And he's but one of the things I'm learning later into my career, and it's make sure what you think you're tracking is actually what you're tracking. And he talked about how for the longest time, they were kind of fighting with the player base over this thing from a specific expansion. And they're well, they keep saying they hate it, but we're looking and the engagement numbers on this are really high. We think it just must be the vocal minority. And then it wasn't until about 6 months later where they kind of had this epiphany. It's wait, we tied a lot of player power to that. Are they just doing it for the player power only? And they hate us because they feel forced to do it? And it was just, it's one of those, it's what the people were saying, but it's easy as a game dev to sort of get cloistered off and not notice these things.
It's easy to look at the data and think it's telling one story when really it's telling a different story.
Yeah. And it was just, it was kind of funny. He's wait, are we tracking the wrong thing? And then he started, I suddenly started seeing false data points everywhere. And I realized, oh, we might be bad at doing this right now.
Are we the baddies?
Yes.
You think?
And it's why are all our players going to Final Fantasy XIV right now? And it's kind of what they needed to wake them up. But I don't know. Anyway, XCOM's awesome. You should definitely play it. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Just pick the one that speaks the most
With
to you.
mods, without mods. I'm a long war guy myself, but
Terror from the Deep, whatever.
As we've said,
choose your adventure. Just choose one because they're all fun.
there's a level of punishment awaiting everyone who wants it.
Yep.
And if you do the easiest difficulties,
You'll still suffer, don't worry.
you'll suffer. I don't know. I never tried the easiest, so it's hard for me to say. But
I did.
Played it the very first time I played XCOM. I did, and it still beats you up.
yeah, I can't imagine you don't come away at least a little bruised.
Rather,
Well-
when you don't know what you're doing, it beats you up. When you know what you're doing, it's basically free. But
I mean,
if
the
you
only
know what
one.
you're doing, why are you playing the easiest difficulty?
Well, I mean, the only one I really went through the whole thing was Enemy Unknown. Actually, played it on the PlayStation 3 because it was on a PSN
wow.
Plus 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And though I will admit, I save scummed. I save scummed quite a bit. But,
Everyone does it. Everyone does it. It's fine.
But yeah, I had my main sniper was Lizzie, and she destroyed everything, especially with the Icarus armor. She was unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting is the fact that, like, no, you're still gonna get rocked on easy the first time. Why? Well, because you don't know what the enemies do.
Yeah, when you don't know, that's definitely a big.
Well,
Bummer.
I guess in that case, I had a little bit of an advantage thanks to you, Splice, and your
Yeah.
streams.
Well, that was
I already had Splice strategies trained in
Oh,
me.
there you go.
well, and so that's the funny part is I remember my first playthrough where I was playing on stream and I remember Petrivka being like, "Man, you're doing really well for your first time." And that stopped the moment I got past wherever Beagle Rush's videos were.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I no longer knew what the enemy, and I'm like, wow, the game just got suddenly a lot more difficult.
The enemy is unknown.
What is this?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wait,
remember
was I
going
cheating?
through. I remember going through and it's like, okay, I had a bit of a rough time. And then I started getting going, and then it was like the first like large UFO that I hit, and it's like, wow, this thing is huge. I had no idea the scale of some of these maps would be. And then you open a door and there's 4 super mutons, and it's like, oh, well, shouldn't have sent that guy in alone.
For me, my first
Oh.
time open a door was a chrysalid, and that's when I got introduced to chrysalid zombie mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
How many of y'all played the Slingshot DLC from Enemy Within?
Yes.
That
Which one was that?
Was that the
the
psychic
train?
or the
No, that was the one where they had.
Zhang?
Yeah, they had Zhang. It gave you access to the blaster launcher early, but you had to go through the Zhang story missions.
Yeah,
And
because you
there-
had to do the whole alien battleship.
and
you
there
could do,
there was
like,
one
one
where you're
too.
like extracting him, and there's 20 thin men. I think
Yeah.
of all the missions that I've ever played in any XCOM, I think that one was the hardest.
Even more
I
than
played-
the whale, the fishing village?
I mean, it's manageable. It's manageable. You know that they're coming.
See, that's
I
the
played
first time
through
you
the
play it, you do
slingshot.
not.
I played through the slingshot missions so many times because I was trying to do my Iron Man or Impossible
and
or whatever
you would
it
wipe
was.
real easy on those because
No,
they're hard and they start early. They like
Mhm.
you got like maybe a couple of squatties.
It's like the first one is not too bad. It's just, numbers of thin men you're fighting. But it's the second one, the one that you
Going
have
through,
to
like,
stop
the
the train.
Yeah, well, you're going through like this big open area too, and yeah, there's
The
yeah.
second of the 3 was always the one that
it was the
walled
second
me.
one.
Because you're going through this massive subway tunnel where you have units that are on top of the train or inside the train, and in every station along the way in these little
Oh my
waiting areas.
Well, and
Gosh,
they're
yes.
spawning where the best hard cover is, and you can't afford to take hard cover because they have their stupid gas attack.
Because it was also one of the few missions in Enemy Within that was not a soft timer, it was a hard timer, and it was a brutally tough timer to beat as well. So you're being forced forward without good cover against enemies that are too strong for the equipment you have at that point in the
with
game.
weak soldiers, yes.
But if you made it through that, then you got to the basically free battleship level in like month 2 or 3, which gave you so many resources and a fusion core to make a free blaster launcher, or
which is
either a
huge.
blaster launcher or like whatever, like the top
the
weapon for your interceptor.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's such a good bonus to get that you'd kind of be dumb not to take it, but at the same time, it is such a brutal journey to get to. It feels so earned.
High risk, high reward.
Well, and the fact that high risk comes early makes it a little more forgivable, because if like, okay, well, I guess I just start over.
I guess I start over, yeah.
Oh man, that feeling once you get like one of those upgrades that applies to your whole team.
Well, like when you get the first weapon upgrade, you know.
The first squad size upgrade.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Just getting the 5th man.
Yeah, one more soldier makes such a huge difference. It's insane. Just because it's just suddenly like, wow, I just have 20% more flexibility in all directions.
And
like, I got 2 more actions. I get
like,
more flanking. I get more everything.
We talked about it before, but that is the two things that separate XCOM from other strategy games, and especially separate it from Fire Emblem, are the strictness of the action economy and the high lethality of every action. They go hand in hand. And without both of those, you don't really have XCOM.
And yeah, it's the whole your video you did about numbers, big numbers versus small numbers.
XCOM is small numbers, and it's so good.
And it's one of those things that you'll get we haven't even mentioned like the breakthroughs that they have in XCOM 2. And it's like you're getting through, it's like, hey, we have a breakthrough. You do this, you get +1 damage to your pistols. And you're like, oh my goodness.
For the rest of the game, every pistol has +1 damage, and
you're just like, it's just
that sounds small, but
well, especially in the beginning, you're just sort of like, why would I use my rifle now?
Well,
but in the beginning, why would you use your rifle? In the end, oh, you have a gunslinger sniper. They now have 1 more damage than the game thinks is possible.
Well, and the biggest difference is
fire the field. Let's go.
suddenly your pistol can one-shot most of the zombies. Suddenly your pistol can one-shot, if it high rolls, it can one-shot a soldier.
And against the Lost, the only limitation is your ammo.
Yeah.
Getting that achievement for killing 15 Lost with shots in a single turn, you basically have to have a leveled gunslinger sniper with the strongest pistol and just set up
or you
a
get
full
the between the eyes
barrel.
Yeah, between the eyes is a good one.
Yeah, there's like it's that a resistance command or whatever it was called. Yeah, is also basically necessary, because especially if you're later on in the game and the Lost are starting to get 6, 8, 10 hit points, it's like, oh yeah, no, you need that.
Lost was a good mechanic.
Yeah. My favorite thing about the Lost is when they move together and
the Horde.
Yeah, they'll move together and they'll trip like over the railing and do like a full front flip. It's just, it's like, I know you're abominations of undeath, but at the same time, you're hilarious.
I will say, I used to have such a hard time on the Lost missions, and then I watched you go up on the railings on the staircases, and they can't reach you, and it's like, oh, this just solves it. Okay.
Just don't
let
them
Lost
get
missions
anywhere
like
close to you.
Yeah, once they're close to you, then things get real hairy.
Just don't let them get close to you at all.
But it's just but the Lost add just that right amount of chaos, because they're not allied to Advent either.
No. Although they are still programmed to more likely go after you. I think it's about a 2-to-1. ratio.
You taste
It's
better.
also a good. It's just a good spin, like where you, like you're so used to clearing the map, and it's like, nope, no time for that.
Yeah,
Well, and then
they'll
on
chase
top
after
of,
you, but they'll accept Advent as a target if they're
an Advent
they
will a lot of
happen to be
times waste
close
their
by.
actions on the Lost.
Because Advent's just looking for the easiest shots to take.
My favorite is when
Highest
they
kill
start
percentage.
killing a bunch of Lost and then they miss an easy Lost shot. You're like, yeah, how's it feel?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right, let's wrap this up. XCOM's awesome. All right, Lunastar, would you like to promote anything?
Sure, I will promote Lizzie Petrichor, not just because she's the best sniper on my XCOM team, but because she does awesome streaming on Twitch, doing shiny hunting for Pokemon. And you know what, Splice?
You finally get
Her
it.
last stream, yeah, she finally got it, and then in the same batch of eggs,
Got another one?
2 later got a second one. She got 2 Zigzagoons in one group of 6 eggs.
Oh,
2 Z's, it works.
that's hilarious. Are you cooking one for dinner?
Well, she wanted to have a Linoon, so she was thinking like, oh, I need to get 2 of these, but once I finally get it, I'm gonna want a break from it. Oh my goodness, I'll have to come back later to get the Linoon, who knows when, and then boom, she got it right then and there.
The game understands that she needs this.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
Petrivka, do you have anything you would like to promote?
No, just happy to be here.
All right, Mithril.
Fair enough. YouTube.com/MithralZenith. You can find me. I do mostly Fire Emblem related stuff in terms of just talking about it, game design discussions. Most recently, I posted a review of Fire Emblem Conquest. I've finished it on Lunatic without DLC or other players' Corins or any of that stuff, and I can finally talk about it. I'll finally talk about it. I did not like that game the first time I played it. I thought it was okay the second time I played it, and then I got really upset at not being able to finish it because it got too hard. And so finally finishing it, it's like, I get it. I understand it. I still don't know if it's my cup of tea, but, this is why I called it a fair and balanced review. I just go over everything that I've learned about the game and learned about myself as I played it over, this playthrough 6 years after the last playthrough.
Hey, that sounds very fair. It's definitely
And
not
balanced.
clickbaity enough, but it's fair.
No, I'm bad with clickbait. That's my problem.
Anyway, all right, and you can find me twitch.tv/splicestream. We are in the middle of Pro Amoeba League right now, and I'm in the middle of recording crap for Tales from the Infirmary. That it'll still be a long time before I get that, just due to the fact that everyone said, no, you should record the whole thing first, then edit it so you know the end from the beginning, so you can sort of have payoffs and storylines. So we're working our way through that. The other thing, if I could recommend on Mithril's channel, I really liked your numbers video. You should check it out. It's a good philosophical thing. But yeah, go do that.
Well, as a squad full of Colonel soldiers with plasma ammo, Icarus armor, I'd say we've overleveled.